It's what I expected. And I think it's a very smart approach to the matter of trade, because blanket tariffs are not necessarily giving you the results that you expect. And I'm not sure exactly what result is expected, whether it's a transactional tool, whether it's going to be a pure trade tool. But I'm not really surprised. But it doesn't mean to say that it will not happen. I think that it will be a more selective, focused development that we will see in the next few days or weeks. But I think what we need to do here in Europe is to be prepared and anticipate what will happen in order to respond.
Well, Europe has been striving to keep its borders open, not just as a moral principle, because it also benefits from trade, and particularly with the United States. If we look at the surplus, it was almost 1% in 2023, thanks to strategic important areas that have been identified by some banks, for instance, from chemicals to pharma. To that point, does Europe have leverage in its trade negotiations with the United States?
One point first. You mentioned, rightly so, the lowering of barriers in Europe, and that was the initial project of the single market. We created, back then, a single market, that was the intention, where, nearly 400 million people could consume, travel, transact. But we did not finish that job. And I think that that's one first lesson that we should draw from the current situation. We have this very large, sizable market with plenty of consumers that are prepared to activate their purchasing power and use their savings. So I'm focusing on Europe because you started with the barriers. We still have barriers. Despite this single market aspiration, we have barriers that prevent services and sometimes goods to travel without impairment. And I think it's one of the points that Ursula von der Leyen, the President of the European Commission, made yesterday. Let's make sure that we remove the barriers over which we have control. So I hope this is what happens in the next few weeks, and it's one way to respond to the change in the trade policy in the United States that we should anticipate. It's be strong at home and make sure you transact, that you sell and purchase at home, that you save at home, and that you invest at home. Not to say that we want to move into a protectionist approach, because what lower barriers has taught us is that trade is actually very helpful.